Hey guys, it's Heather here with Underwater Panther, and we are working through the Scorpio or ENFP Archetype book, an in-depth astro-psychological analysis. So let me get to where we left off. I've already discussed what the ego is and the 8th house, and we are going through Scorpio or the ENFP's temperament so far. So we're jumping right into the water element of Scorpio or the ENFP. So Scorpio represents the element of water. Water represents the realm of emotions and feelings. The water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So Scorpio is the middle child of the water signs. Water signs tend to soak into emotions and feelings, whether that be theirs or other people's. Now, Scorpio is the odd man out of the water element signs in many different ways, as well as the emotional realm. They have introverted feeling parent, and Cancer and Pisces both have extroverted feeling. I'm not going to break down that cognitive function quite yet. But I can tell you that Scorpios are more focused on their own emotions and feelings. So, water signs respond to energy subconsciously. So, water is feelings and emotions, and Scorpio is a fixated temperament. So, it is fixated on its own emotions and feelings. You can get that through astrology and psychology. So Scorpio's element water, the emotional realm, the invisible currents, and the inner ocean. Water is the element of emotion, intuition, memory, psychic resonance, and the unseen currents that shape human experience. It is the element that moves without being seen, the element that connects all things through feeling rather than form. Water signs do not think their way through life. They feel, sense, absorb, and respond to the emotional field around them. The water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, each represent a different state of water. Cancer is the surface wave, Scorpio is the solid ice or pressurized depths, and Pisces is the ocean itself. Scorpio is the fixed water, the deep reservoir that holds, concentrates, and transforms emotional energy. So all water signs soak into emotional currents, absorb the moods of environments, respond to energy almost automatically, have emotional memory stronger than factual memory, feel everything first, and rationalize later. But how each water sign handles emotion differs drastically. The water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Water signs respond to energy almost unconsciously. They are deeply emotional, but in very different ways. So I'm going to break down each of the water signs briefly. Cancer is the cardinal water, the wave, the vibe setter, the emotional initiator. Cancer is the sign that creates the emotional climate. Now, actually, I might pause and take time. All right, give me 1 second here. I'm going to bring up. I should have prepped myself. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to pull that down. You're going to have a blank screen for a moment. I'm going to have to do a window capture real quick to get Cancer's key card pulled up here. It will be worth it to do so. All right, give me 1 second. I should have prepped myself. All right, there we go. I'm going to pull back up what I was reading from. All right, now you can see Cancer's key card here. All right, so you can see that Cancer has extroverted feeling hero. They are very focused on other people's emotions. So Cancer is a sign that creates the emotional climate. It is cardinal, meaning it starts things. Cancers feel everything immediately and intensely, then attempt to shape the environment to match their inner state. Because of this, Cancer energy can become protective, nurturing, intuitive, moody, reactive, controlling, emotionally territorial, and clingy with the past. If Cancer feels unsafe, the claws come out, they grip, they hold, and they attach. Their emotional memory is photographic. Once they feel something, they never forget it. Cancer is motivated to nurture and be nurtured. They like to control the emotional vibes in their environment. Known as the vibe or water wave, they can really come off as controlling and pushy or closed off and distant. Either or. Turns into wanting to control the vibes. Anytime you step into a vibe, they may make you uncomfortable and want to get out of it or control it. So they reshape their environment to their vibe. They can be too worried about their emotions and feelings to care about others. Can get moody and chaotic. Once a crab snaps and clings at you or on to something, it's hard to get them off. So they can really cling on to past memories, emotions, feelings, and thoughts. Cancers can go very deep here. All right, Scorpio. Let's pull down the Cancer. Actually, I don't know why that froze. That's kind of odd. Let me get that off there completely. All right, so Scorpio is fixed water, the ice block, the depth, pressure, the emotional reactor wave. Or reactor core. Scorpio is fixed water, meaning compressed, intensified, and inwardly pressurized. If Cancer creates emotional waves and Pisces merges with emotional oceans, Scorpio contains emotional oceans inside a single vessel. Scorpio's emotional world is private, internal, intense, controlled, volcanic, beneath a still surface. This is not water that flows. This is water that holds, concentrates, and transforms. Scorpio's emotional process, they absorb deeply, internalize completely, analyze intensively, repress strategically, and release explosively if pushed. Their emotions move slowly but with immense pressure. This is why Scorpio is symbolized by ice, emotion made rigid, glaciers, slow but unstoppable, the deep trench, pressure that crushes, and still water that hides unknown power beneath. This creates the famous Scorpio Aurora. We named our kitten Aurora. So this creates the famous Scorpio aura, mysterious, unreadable, powerful, intense, private, and unshakable. Scorpio has intense vision, never swaying, looking straight ahead with laser-like focus. They are intensely focused on their own emotions and feelings, known as the ice block, fixated water within water. Everyone works around them like a focal point, emotionally speaking. Scorpios are introverted feeling users, in which they see extroverted feeling users like Cancers, and Pisces as acting fake, when in reality they both care deeply about the tribe or people outside themselves, so they go more with the flow, unlike Scorpio. All right, now you're going to have to bear with me. I am going to pull up Pisces card really quickly. Give me one moment. I do apologize. I wasn't going to make a video today, but here we are. Where is it? Pisces, where did you go? I think this is it. That's not it. 5. Oh, there it is. Okay. I didn't name it Pisces for some reason. All right, let's talk about Pisces briefly. All right. Okay, there we go. So Pisces is mutable water, the ocean, the empath, the psychic sponge. Pisces is water without form, the boundless ocean of imagination, sensitivity, psychic absorption, and compassion. Pisces feels not just their own emotions, but the emotions of the room, the partner, the collective, the astral realm, and the ancestral line. Their identity can be blurred with the emotional field around them, making them adaptable, emotionally intelligent, spiritually attuned, creatively inspired, escapist, overwhelmed, anxious, and self sacrificing. Pisces absorbs emotions like salt water pulling ink into itself, and sometimes cannot tell what is theirs versus what was picked up. Their greatest lesson is discernment, learning to pause, absorb, and not react instantly to every inner current. Pisces is the trickiest to describe. Pisces energy is chameleon like, absorbing its surroundings, are known as the depths of the ocean itself. They can get too far out by themselves through and need rescuing. Pisces needs to remember not to act out of their anxious thoughts and ever changing emotions. They could possibly not even be their own. They need to have backup plans before reacting or try to sit, remain calm, and use logic in turbulent times. So Pisces are very boundless. They are of the 12th house. So, yes, they're extremely empathic and extroverted. Feeling users tend to be the doormats of the personality types. They confuse others' emotions with their own, and they can really be guilted and shamed very easily, unlike Scorpio. So that is just something to notate. All right, so I am toggling more things than I prefer. Let me pull up Cancer real quick. All right, so Cancer, how Scorpio differs from Cancer and Pisces. All right. Cancer expresses emotion immediately. Scorpio expresses emotion strategically. Cancer seeks comfort. Scorpio seeks transformation. Cancer clings and Scorpio tests. Cancer externalizes and Scorpio internalizes. Cancer reacts and Scorpio waits. Cancer is feel now. Scorpio is feel deeply until I am ready. So Scorpio versus Pisces. There we go. Pisces dissolves, Scorpio penetrates, Pisces merges with everyone. Scorpio merges only with chosen souls. Pisces absorbs and Scorpio concentrates. Pisces communicates emotions verbally or artistically. Scorpio communicates through intensity and action. Scorpio has emotional walls like fortified stone. All right. So, what Scorpio's water element means for the psyche. Scorpio's relationship with water is psychological. They feel everything but show little. They keep emotions private until trust is absolute. They remain composed until pressure reaches breaking point. They have a deep need to understand the why beneath feelings. They sense hidden motives and emotional truths instantly. They emotionally regenerate after total destruction. Other signs skim the surface of water. Scorpio becomes the water, absorbing, transforming, purifying, and intensifying it. Scorpio's emotional superpower. Scorpio can withstand emotional experiences that would destroy other signs. They go down into the underworld of trauma, fear, loss, betrayal, obsession, desire, and grief. And they come back with insight. They do not drown in water, they master it. The water of Scorpio, elemental psychology, shadow patterns, and soul level integration. Scorpio belongs to the element of water, the realm of emotion, intuition, sensitivity, memory, psychic reception, and the non-linear pathways of the human heart. But unlike the other water signs, Scorpio's water is fixed, held, condensed, pressurized, and transformed into something alchemical. Cancer moves like waves. Pisces flows like the boundless ocean. Scorpio freezes into depth, the ice, the trench, the emotional reactor core. Water is emotion, fixed is fixation. Scorpio is the fixation of emotion, the emotional truth held intensely, consciously, and often invisibly. Where Cancer externalizes emotion and Pisces dissolves into emotion. I think it's like absolutely raining a lot outside. That was a really odd noise. Okay, sorry. I heard something very strange. It's just like pouring outside. All right, so where was I? Where Cancer externalizes emotion and Pisces dissolves into emotion, Scorpio internalizes emotion and becomes its container. This container is not fragile. It is not passive. It is the crucible of transformation. Scorpio's emotional structure, the ice and the pressure. Scorpio's emotional water behaves like ice. It does not flow easily, it holds its shape. It contains everything beneath the surface. This is Scorpio's reputation for emotional restraint, privacy, control, guardedness, mystery, and unreadability. They're so mysterious because they just sit there and brew, and you can tell there's a lot going on, but they will not tell you what is going on. It's hysterical to me. Pisces really, I mean, yes, they're the ocean and they absorb everyone's feelings and emotions, and you know, it's the 12th sign. They're really very spiritual, very empathetic. But Pisces can, they will they won't brew and sit in emotions like Scorpio. Scorpio's problem is they're so fixated on emotions, they don't realize that it totally takes them over. They will not express it, but they have a hard time getting them out and moving them out of their body. They don't like to talk about their emotions. So it's like I feel for them because they can tend to hold a lot of baggage there. It goes into they don't trust anybody and they just cannot move those emotions, and so they tend to just hold so many grudges. I feel for them because Scorpio's memory is very, very, they have a huge RAM for memory, and their memories are actually really emotionally based. And I just wouldn't want to hold that much emotion inside. It is not healthy. All right. So the deep trench. The deeper the water, the more pressure. Scorpios feels with pressure, not chaos. This creates emotional intensity, deep loyalty, emotional endurance, psychological insight, powerful intuition about motives, a capacity to survive extreme emotional events. So Pisces, what I was trying to say is they tend to get their emotions out through like creativity, poetry, writing, studying, talking about them, whatever the case may be. So Pisces can tend to have like a very optimistic, rose-colored glasses. They're just like their baseline for happiness is a little or a lot higher than Scorpios, because Scorpios are just so entrenched in emotions, and I know they'll never admit it, but Scorpios tend to be a little less, giddy, I suppose. Pressurized transformation, but they would call it being more in reality. I understand. Internal pressure builds until the moment of release. When Scorpio breaks, it erupts, not dissolves. So yes, Pisces dissolves things. They really alchemize emotions. This is why Scorpio is associated with the phoenix, the volcano, the underworld, death and rebirth, emotional regeneration. This emotional volcano is not necessarily dysfunction. It is the mechanism of transformation. Scorpio water shadow patterns. The shadow forms when Scorpio's emotional depth becomes too internalized, too pressurized, too controlled, too unexpressed, too mistrustful. Emotional secrecy, emotional withholding. Scorpio hides what they feel to remain safe, but this becomes emotional starvation in relationships. Partners feel locked out, confused, or punished. Emotional intensity, obsession. When Scorpio feels deeply, they fixate. The emotional field narrows to one person, one desire, or one outcome. Perceptiveness and paranoia. Scorpio sees motives vividly, but when fear takes over, every motive is suspicious, every silence interpreted, every delay a threat. Emotional control and power dynamics. Scorpio unconsciously tests loyalty, sincerity, or devotion. This can become withholding affection, creating intensity to feel secure. Huge one. Emotional ultimatums, pushing someone away to see if they will stay. I don't know any other personality type that is so hardcore with loyalty testing, or some people call it shit testing, but loyalty testing other people, pushing them away, closing them off, being intense. Scorpios are very intense, and they can be so emotionally towards other people just to see if the other person will stay with them. Emotional endurance, emotional self-destruction. Scorpio can withstand too much. They stay in toxic relationships, painful dynamics, unhealthy attachments, and trauma bonds because they believe they can handle it. Emotional memory, emotional grudges. Water remembers. Fixed water never forgets. I do idealize their their long-term memory. It's amazing. Scorpio can hold past wounds for decades if forgiveness never fully integrates. Healing and integration, Scorpio water. Scorpio does not heal through softness. Scorpio heals through truth, purification, and emotional alchemy. Name the emotion. Scorpio's first instinct is to hide the feeling even from themselves. Naming it breaks the spell. I feel betrayed, disappointed, afraid, abandoned, ashamed, or jealous. Naming transforms. Number 2, release the pressure. Scorpio must create safe emotional release. Long drives alone, shadow journaling, sacred rage, primal crying, ritual baths, creative transmutation, intimate emotional confession with one trusted person. If pressure isn't released intentionally, it erupts destructively. Geez, I'm having a really bad speaking night. Number 3, practice emotional transparency. Scorpio's medicine is revealing a single hidden truth at a time. Small vulnerability heals the ice. Number 4, allow others to help. Scorpio tries to self-heal in isolation. Their growth comes from shared healing, not solitary endurance. Number 5, stop testing people. Testing feels like protection, but it damages trust. You will push a loyal person all the way over the edge if you keep testing somebody. I know it's so hard to trust people, but never trust a loyal person over the edge. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Replace test with direct request. I need reassurance. I need honesty. I need stability. I need consistency. Let the past die. Good luck. I truly do feel terrible for the emotional storage of memories. I just cannot even imagine. Scorpio's evolution is phoenix based, but the phoenix cannot rise while the ashes are still gripped in the past. Let go, let it rot, let it die, then rebuild. Scorpio water and the ENFP functional stack. Now, this is really freaking awesome. I always say I don't know anyone else doing this, but I don't. So I'm going to take a quick drink and get into one of my favorite parts of the whole book. I'm really pushing through this. I wasn't going to do a video tonight. I do apologize. All right, so we have extroverted intuition hero, introverted feeling parent, extroverted thinking child, and introverted sensing inferior. So your ENFP cognitive structure makes your water element more psychological, more imaginative, and more pattern-based than the typical Scorpio. Well, typical water sign, really. So here's how the functions blend with Scorpio water. Any hero what could happen, all futures. So extroverted intuition, it is like a buckshot, not a sniper rifle, of looking at many different opportunities. You can follow many different lines of thinking at one time. Water signs are very future focused, future oriented. So Cancers and Pisces, when they have a goal, they have one single goal and they try to have one single path towards that goal. Scorpio's superpower is extroverted intuition. So they can see multiple paths forward. They can, work on multiple goals at once. It's really, really amazing. It truly is. Their intuition is extroverted. And then Cancer and Pisces intuition is introverted, self-focused. So Scorpios are actually really good at helping others see more opportunities and help others work on their goals in many different ways, which is amazing. So they aren't as single-minded. Cancers and Pisces also have introverted thinking. Unlike Scorpio, Scorpios have extroverted thinking. So they are extroverted in their thinking, and they are more extroverted in general. So that means that they're not just focused on their own internal processes of thinking. They like to go out there and talk to other people about opportunities, help other people see opportunities, and they're really good storytellers, honestly. And they really love to push their thoughts out towards other people and gather other people's thoughts. They're really considered thought vampires. I think it's hilarious, but yes, I'm going to make a playlist here explaining the functions, cognitive functions in depth. At first it's a lot to take in. And so I know we're just getting started here. I'm going to get into depth with that in this series. It won't be until later. So I know the language is kind of hard to understand, but Scorpios are extroverted in their thinking and extroverted in their intuition. So that's what they push outside out in the internal world. So the internal introverted functions are feeling and sensing. And so they're very internal with their feelings. And then introverted sensing, that means that they're very, very concerned with their own comfort, their own sensational comfort. And so that can really get them to, oh, well, let's go do something. And then they're like, well, I don't feel like it. That's a huge thing. They'll come up with a whole bunch of different things and then, talk to somebody. Hey, I have this idea and this idea and this idea. And then that person comes back around. The Scorpio is like, well, I don't feel like it. Pretty common, but yeah. All right. So extroverted intuition, hero, adds anticipation to Scorpio's emotional depth. You don't just feel emotions, you feel where they're heading. Scorpio plus NE equals I feel deeply and I foresee the emotional consequences. This amplifies intuition, prescience, emotional pattern recognition, relationship foresight, and paranoia if unbalanced. Introverted feeling parent, that is where their inner values are and emotional integrity. And it actually represents morals. So inner values, inner morals, they are very steadfast on their own values and their own morals. Cancers and Pisces, they tend to drift more with morals. Cancer and Pisces are more ethical, so they care more about the group, how the group is feeling. That is ethics. So Cancers and Pisces can get swayed more with their values. Huge, huge, huge thing. All right, so Scorpio and introverted feeling equals emotional absolutism. My feelings are sacred. My values are non-negotiable. My intuition is law. Deep authenticity and deep moral conviction. Shadow side, withholding, silent punishment, self-protective moral walls. It is storming like crazy right now. I didn't even try to do my hair or makeup or nothing today. I was just like, holy crap. It is so windy right now. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's really wicked outside. All right, so extroverted thinking child, organizing external logic. Scorpio and extroverted thinking child equals needing external validation for emotional reasoning. You want compliments, recognition, reassurance that your emotional read is correct. When denied, extroverted thinking child becomes tantrums, defensiveness, emotional outbursts, withdrawing affection. So Scorpios certainly need a lot of kudos. Extroverted thinking is about it's not necessarily, it is kind of reputation. It's all about credentials. They want to look good. It's not really looking good, it's about respect. They certainly read respect. So they want to be respected and they want their kudos, their props, their trophies, their certificates, all of that. They are very aware of how people are looking at them and their reputation. Not that they necessarily care about reputation, they certainly care about respect, though. All right, introverted sensing inferior. I keep forgetting I can click it. So past and memory. Scorpio and SI emotionally remembering everything. A tiny moment becomes a cinematic memory. A small betrayal becomes a permanent emotional scar. This amplifies Scorpio's tendency to hold grudges, remember tone, energy, and details, revisit memories to extract meaning. Scorpios can certainly replay memories nonstop over and over and over, as well as, I always forget the term for the thinking that comes in. Intrusive thoughts, emotional intrusive thoughts, especially. They have a very cinematic, they're their memories plays like a movie and they can't stop it. I've heard this. I don't have that. I don't really have that issue of like, you know, I mean, if you listen to music, it like pulls up this old file and you have a memory. But this, for Scorpios, this is like a lot more common for them. Pretty fascinating. All right, so they have a larger filing cabinet for sure. So the 3 stages of water. Cancer equals the vapor, mist, and surface water. Immediate, reactive, expressive, emotionally initiating. Scorpio equals the ice, pressure, and deep reservoir. Contained, intense, selective, and emotionally enduring. And Pisces is the ocean, infinite flow, and boundlessness. Merging, dissolving, absorbing, and emotionally open. So the final summary, the water of Scorpio. A closing transmission for this chapter. I'm already at almost 40 minutes. That's ridiculous. Scorpio is not merely a water sign, it is the fixed heart of water. The pressure chamber where feeling becomes truth, emotion becomes transformation, and desire becomes destiny. To be Scorpio is to carry a private ocean behind the ribs, to hold storms that never show on the surface, to feel in silence, to heal in darkness, and to regenerate in fire. It's the fire within the water. I see you, Scorpio. Water is your language, but pressure is your teacher. You do not simply feel like Cancer nor drift like Pisces. You descend, you spiral, you confront, and you transmute. Your emotions are not fleeting waves. They are tectonic shifts, volcanic cores, underground rivers carving out new versions of you. You are not born to avoid the underworld. You were born to walk through it, torch in hand, and return with what others are too afraid to face. Your relationships are not surface level bonds, they are soul forged contracts. Your love is not light and airy, it is marrow deep. Your intuition is not whimsical, it is surgical. Your healing is not passive, it is volcanic rebirth. And your life is not linear, it is cyclical, phoenix driven, and each stage burning away the last. You are the deep ocean under ice. You are the volcanic heat beneath pressure. You are the emotional truth no one else dares to speak. This is the power of Scorpio. This is the water that transforms. This is the heart of the phoenix. All right, so I'm going to get into the fixed modality next. I'm actually going to cut this, cap it off here. I'm going to take a quick break. Like, I'm a little exhausted, pretty exhausted. I spent my entire day organizing, cleaning out closets of my children and getting rid of clothes. And yeah, I'm just tired and need to shake it off a little bit. Hopefully, I won't trip up on my words in the next video as bad as I did this one. But anyways, hopefully you learned a gem or two. Feel free to comment your thoughts and feelings, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.